What's up, everybody? So, I don't know if you guys recall, but in the last couple of videos, I had an issue with the video lagging, but I was messing around with the settings today, and I came to figure out that the issue was that my record settings, and the video, I guess the settings were off, and I had to reset the settings. So I've tested it already, so it looks like the video is no longer lagging anywhere near as much as it was. So I fixed that. But we're going to be reacting to 10 crazy road scenes caught on camera. So let's get into it. And if you guys enjoy the video, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. I would appreciate it. Alright, further ado, let's go.
Chaiyaphum is a landlocked province in northern Thailand. It's home to about 1.3 million people and a motocross crew who likes riding along flooded forest trails. On September 17th of 2023, the team embarked on a long ride after several days of heavy rain in Chaiyaphum. The dirt roads were wet and muddy, but these pros believed they could handle it. The ride went smoothly at first, at least as smoothly as it can go given the conditions. About a mile into the woods, the water seemed to get deeper. Then, out of nowhere, the team came upon a freak flash flood cutting right through their path. When our cameraman arrived, he learned his buddy had gotten swept up in it.
Oh. Oh. Dang.
Our cameraman trudged through the wet grassland in desperate search of his friend. He could be washed up on the shore or miles downstream by now. These bikers simply had no idea. Their anxiety built as the camera kept rolling. It finally released when they learned their friend's fate.
Oh, okay, he's good. He's biking, but he's good.
Thankfully, the biker was okay and emerged from the water without a scratch. We can't say the same about his bike, though.
Right.
It looks like he got washed downriver, never to be seen again. Since there was no way across and no going back, our riders had to wait for the flood to subside before continuing their journey. It's unclear who had to carry the man who lost his bike. In the United States, we have OSHA, or the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. They do their best to ensure work conditions are safe for everyone, especially regarding dangerous work like construction. In Russia, they have, well, whatever allowed this to happen. It was March 19th of 2017. Two Russian construction workers were out on the job site. One was in charge of cutting some support rods, while the other filmed and made fun of him. They weren't laughing when the bridge suddenly collapsed, and our Russian worker had to make a leap of faith to safety.
Будет падать, кидай нахуй резак! Я говорю, заденет, будет падать, заденет столб по-любому вот этим аппендицитом. И он повисит вот на той центральном.
Oh! Oh, that was close. Look at all those rods sticking up on that one.
Thankfully, the worker landed safely on the concrete slab. He's lucky he avoided those steel rods sticking out of the platform he was standing on. This video's like those cartoons of people sawing the tree branch they're sitting on. Did this guy think that column would remain standing as the bridge collapsed around him? And if it did, how the heck did he plan on getting down? Needless to say, OSHA would have a problem with the safety practices on this job site. China is full of stunning mountain views once you venture outside the main cities. This family in northern China was out for a casual sightseeing ride when they narrowly avoided a complete catastrophe. It was July 29th of 2021. The family had just parked their red SUV near the edge of a roadside cliff. Just as they were getting ready to leave, the brakes failed and their car began rolling toward the edge.
Oh.
再次看有狗受伤了。因为我下去把那块玻璃擦掉。
现在都是重度吃的。
车给挡住了。这样看。
Which car is it going to be? The red one or the one he's standing in front of? The red one. The woman in the front seat was still in it.
By some miracle, the car stopped halfway down and never flipped over. Rescuers reached the woman who was still inside and extracted her without any life-threatening injuries. The rest of the family is lucky they escaped in time. When the father grabbed the car, it bought those in the back a few quick seconds to open the doors and jump out. According to reports, the woman in the front couldn't move because her seatbelt was stuck. That same seatbelt likely saved her life as the SUV rolled down the mountain.
Very likely. That's insane. For something like that to happen.
February of 2011. Christopher Carlson, an avid backcountry skier, has just arrived in Verbier, Switzerland, for a few days on the mountain. He waited at the top and watched as all of his friends went down before him. He was excited when his turn finally came, but that excitement quickly turned to panic when a freak avalanche swept him off his skis. Thanks to his years of experience, Christopher knew to cup his hands around his mouth as the snow piled on. This helped form an air pocket, allowing him to breathe under about 6 feet of snow. Meanwhile, his backcountry safety equipment helps his friends locate and dig him out.
Dang. Imagine that. Being caught up in an avalanche of snow.
According to data from the Colorado Avalanche Information Center, most victims will suffocate within minutes of getting buried. Thanks to Christopher's air pocket, he could have lasted several hours under the snow. It would have been cold, scary, and uncomfortable, but it would have given rescue teams plenty of time to find him. Thankfully, his friends only needed a few minutes.
Great friends.
In the extreme sport of acro-paragliding, normal paragliders take things up a notch by performing twists, flips, and spins in the air. Smart acrogliders will perform these tricks over a body of calm water. They'll also carry 1 or 2 reserve parachutes if something goes wrong. This high-flying daredevil took things to a new level when he tried a death-defying trick over a dense forest. Watch as things go very wrong, and he narrowly avoids a catastrophic crash.
Very close to the trees. Too close for comfort. Oh, he was tangled up too. He was trying to untangle himself.
Luckily, our pilot regained control and could float as he caught his breath. He sat there in stunned silence for a few moments, likely
bet.
thinking about how close he came to certain death. He claims he made a rookie mistake by trying a risky, twisted maneuver too low to the ground. He lost his brake handle and began sinking toward the trees. Things got worse as his lines crossed, forcing him to untangle them manually. Then, part of his wing clipped the treetops. Luckily, he corrected course at the
amount
last
of
second
strength.
and floated down to safety. Hopefully, he learned from this close call and won't repeat the same rookie mistake.
The amount of strength it took to pull the wires apart to begin with.
Network Rail owns and manages the general infrastructure for most of Great Britain's railroads. They take safety seriously and don't appreciate when people's reckless behavior leads to accidents on their tracks. And while most people know to stop and wait for the train to cross, others aren't as wise. Network Rail could hardly believe it when they began reviewing CCTV footage from different level crossings along the Wessex route. Watch how several close calls could have led to catastrophe. The first incident occurred on June 1st of 2024. A couple waited patiently for the first train to pass. Then they ignored the red lights and lowered arms, assuming the crossing was safe. They quickly learned it wasn't, as another train was heading their way. They scamper across the tracks and run to safety. 2 more incidents occurred at the same crossing on Clappers Lane. Watch as the first pedestrian and his dog are nearly taken out by a passing train. About 2 months later, a man on his bike casually crosses in front of the same train, missing it by only a few feet. It almost looks
Why are
like he
you
wanted to
still
push
on
his
the
luck
tracks?
as far as possible. The next clip doesn't involve any trains. Instead, we see 2 bikers who tried to beat the crossing arms. Instead, they wind up crashing into each other, putting everyone's life at risk. According to Network Rail, 466 incidents like these occurred between 2023 and 2024, and that's only counting the Wessex route. The
That's
figures show a
crazy.
24% increase in misuse incidents. Apparently, those living along the Wessex route don't care about basic train safety.
Apparently. Wow. Or they're just daredevils to
Anak
begin with.
Krakatau is among the most well-known volcanoes in the world. Born from the catastrophic eruption of 1883, Anak Krakatau, or Child of Krakatau, used to be about 1,100 feet tall. Then another massive eruption in October of 2018 cut the mountain in half. It was October 16th of 2018. Krakatau enthusiast Matthew Davidson was on board a tour boat in the Sunda Strait when the legendary mountain blew its lid. He kept the camera rolling as lava bombs landed and rolled toward the water. Then, things escalated significantly when a few of those bombs landed right next to his boat.
Imagine being around that when it erupts. That's completely insane. Heck of a view, but completely insane.
Oh! Fucking hell!
Crazy.
Oh, shit!
Matthew was lucky their captain got them out of there in time. It's hard to tell from the footage, but those lava bombs are about the size of your car. If one landed on their boat, Well, you can use your imagination. The 2018 eruptive period at Anak Krakatau lasted from June of 2018 until January of 2019. Another large-scale eruption in December sent a devastating tsunami toward Indonesia. Hundreds of people lost their lives, and thousands more lost their homes. When it was over, Anak Krakatau shrunk from 1,100 feet to 360 feet. In other words, Matthew and his tour group were among the last to see the mountain before it cut itself in half. Cairo is famous for being the capital of Egypt and one of the oldest baskets of civilization in the world. Unfortunately, they've earned themselves a new reputation in recent years, and it has to do with poor construction practices. According to a 2022 report, there are 14.5 million residential properties nationwide. Of them, roughly 100,000 are categorized as dangerous and on the verge of collapse. Many of those buildings are in Cairo, and they've been claiming innocent lives since 2015. These locals got lucky when someone noticed cracks forming in the side of their apartment complex. Everyone got out moments before the building came crumbling down.
Nope, not me.
Our cameraman said his uncle lived in the building and escaped moments before the collapse. He said construction on an adjacent building had caused the deep cracks to form in this one. Residents, including his uncle, awoke to strange cracking and creaking sounds that morning.
Half of those buildings aren't even stable to begin with, as you can see just by looking at it. So any little bit of construction work going on next door to one of those houses is going to make it either crack or completely collapse, as you just saw. But you can't expect any of those houses there to be completely stable to begin with.
They noticed slight movements in the structure and knew it was on the verge of collapse. Sadly, it's a story they've heard many times before. Between 2014 and 2020, Egypt experienced about 1,000 similar collapses. Combined, these incidents claimed the lives of 500 people. About 2/3 of that figure were women and children.
Wow. That's sad.
The M4 highway in Russia, also known as the Don, is a 943-mile expressway linking Moscow in the north to Novorossiysk, a port city on the Black Sea. On November 12th of 2018, a local man was driving along the M4 when he discovered a massive pileup. Roughly 10 cars were involved in the crash, and dozens more were stuck behind. He kept the camera rolling as he passed a flaming vehicle, leading to this extreme close call.
Wow.
Фуры, все стало. Пиздос. Надо валить быстрее, ёбаный в рот.
Half of those look like just
Вот это
straight up
жесть.
tractor, straight up
И
18
побились
wheelers.
все, вот это черт подери.
Literally 90% of that is just 18 wheelers. That's crazy.
Горит машина. Глянь же, скать, машина загорелась.
Ooh.
Вот это пиздец.
Oh!
Нихуя себе, блядь.
Now, we don't speak Russian, but we're guessing our cameraman used some colorful language to describe what he just saw. Thankfully, he and his passenger were unharmed during the blast. It's unclear what caused
That
the
is
pileup,
insane
but by the
timing.
looks of things, weather likely had something to do with it. Shuangyashan, China, is a large coal mining city in the eastern part of Heilongjiang province. It's home to about 1.4 million people, including 2 men who will never look at winter the same way again. It was November 14th of 2023. Shuangyashan had just experienced a heavy snowfall, and several large piles had formed on the rooftops. Storefront CCTV cameras were rolling as 2 men strolled by. One of them looked up, and then both were jumping for cover. The leading man hears something shift overhead. He looks up to see a cascade of snow falling toward him. They raise their arms for cover and try to escape the avalanche. Thankfully, neither man was injured as the chunks landed directly behind them. Cell phone footage of a similar event shows how much damage heavy snow like that can do.
今天变成蓝皮了，
Now we're thinking that there are several solid blocks of ice mixed in with the snow. It wouldn't cause this much damage if it were just soft powder. So, the next time you're walking under a building after a snowstorm, keep an eye on the roof. You never know when something's about to fall off.
Alright guys, that was the end of that crazy video. If you guys enjoyed, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing. I would appreciate that. And I'll catch you in the next one. Adios.